Hey everybody, welcome to Lake Chickamauga here in Dayton, Tennessee for the Hobie Bass Open Series anchored by Power Pole. I'm your tournament director, AJ McCorder, and we've had two amazing days out here in Ray County, Tennessee, watching almost a full field anglers, 196 anglers out here on Lake Chickamauga. Before we dive into our awards, we have to thank some folks that we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them. Got to thank everyone here at the Ray County Economic Development that essentially is in charge of all of the tournaments that come through. They were extremely excited to be able to work with a kayak fishing entity again. We were here in 2018 for our very first Bass Open Series event, and it's come a long way since then thanks to their support and all of the people in this room and the folks at home as well. We also want to thank our sponsors, all of these great companies behind me. They produce great products for fishermen, for kayak anglers. If you're not familiar with any of their offerings, please check them out. We definitely want to support the companies that support us and help us do what we love to do. So we give a big shout out to Power Pole, Lowrance, Daiwa, Aftco, St. Croix, Torquedo, Marine Mat, Stolquist, Sunline, Ingle Coolers, Boondocks, Bill Lewis Lures, Bass & Magazine, FPV Power, Burley Pro, Hobie Eyewear, and Catch Products. Also want to give a big shout out to Hobie Fishing for making all of this possible. We would not be here without their support, both in staff at these events, but also all the folks back in California that put in the work behind the scenes to help these events run the way that they do. The folks here at this event were Steve Fields, Sean Douglas, Michael Garrett, and we had some volunteer help from Cody and Sarah Prather, and we have an incredible team, and I want to thank everybody that helps make these events run as smooth as possible. I also want to thank all of the anglers that come to these events. They invest so much time and money and effort, both on and off the water, to participate in these events, both at the local level and at the higher national levels. We just thank you all so much for your continued support and all the efforts that you put in to be at these events all over the country. We wouldn't be able to do this if it wasn't for your all support. So thank you all. All the fans and folks that share all the posts of the anglers and the B.O.S, thank you all as well. You guys really being essentially cheerleaders of this series and specific folks in this series is exciting and creates more opportunities for folks to learn what we're doing. So thank you all for that. If you're looking to participate in a Hobie Bass Open Series event this year, next up is Lake Winnipesaukee in New Hampshire. Registration is still open, but our anglers will be going to New Hampshire and fishing for smallmouth and largemouth on what appears to be just a phenomenal lake up there, and you still have an opportunity to register for that. One of our favorite events is the Susquehanna River out of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. That is in late July. That event is currently full at 200 anglers, and we have just under 70 anglers on the wait list for that event. If you do want to still get on the wait list, please go ahead and send B.O.S at Hobie.com an email, and we will add you to that. And over the course of the next 2 months, we will be filling from that wait list as anglers drop out. And as we've seen in some of these events, that dropout rate tends to be extremely higher in the last week or days before the event. So if you're on the wait list, just wait, be ready. You might get that text or email at the last minute so you can enjoy some time on one of our favorite fisheries in the country. In August, we go to the Wolf and Fox River out of Appleton, Wisconsin, a really unique fishery for our series. We're looking forward to seeing how our anglers spread out over those two waterways. Registration is open, and there are plenty of spots for folks to fill that up. It is our second to last event, so if you're trying to get some AFTCO Angler of the Year points, that is a great opportunity to do that towards the end of the year, and you'll have a little more clarity into how that Angler of the Year race is shaping up at that time. And then to wrap it up, we go back to Dardanelle in Russellville, Arkansas. It's another favorite of our series. It's a nice central location. Folks can get there from all over the country, and it has some great small water and big water opportunities for our anglers, and there's some really good bass in there. That'll be our last open event of 2022, and then we wrap up this whole series both with Angler of the Year and our championship on Caddo Lake out of Shreveport and Bossier City, Louisiana, where our 50 anglers will be fishing for a $100,000 guarantee to the top 10 anglers and a $45,000 first place prize. There's still plenty of opportunities to qualify for that event through either getting the top 3 in any of our remaining open events or through our AFCO Angler of the Year points race. All right, let's get into this event. First things first, we always jump off with big bass. Bass and Big Bass is supported by Bass and Magazine. Bass and Magazine has been a part of this series for a long time. They share the stories that you guys have on the water. They are pushing that out to larger demographics and work really hard to tell the story of kayak bass fishing through their demographic and reader base. This event had many fish over 20 inches and quite a few fish over 22. On day 1, we saw Justin Largen have our Bass and Big Bass of the day at 22 3/4, but towards the end of day 2, that was overcame by a 23 1/4 incher from Jimmy Davis. Come on up here, Jimmy. Jimmy, tell everybody where you're from.
I'm from Rogersville, Tennessee.
Okay. You spend much time down here on Chickamauga?
Not much, about 3 or 4 times a year.
Okay. Well, we'll get to talk to you a little bit later on your experience on the lake as a whole, but let's talk about that 23 1/4 inch bass. What were you feeling and thinking when you saw that thing?
Oh, I thought it'd break off at first. It was just 8-pound test line.
So you were finesse fishing?
Yes.
What did that big girl eat?
Wacky. Yum dinger.
Okay. Okay. How were you feeling when you laid it on the board? I mean, were you shaking? Were you?
Well, yeah, I was a nervous wreck. I called my boy. I was just a nervous wreck.
Is that a PB?
Yes, personal best.
Personal best in a tournament with 196 other anglers. You get to take home $500 to always remember that fish. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, we're going to pay out 19 places for this event. So I'm going to randomly bring up the bottom 4 anglers. Keith Shadwick, Adam Reiser, Michael Cooper, and Steven Sisto. You guys will come up and line up right here. All right, in 19th place, taking home $700, had 92 1/4 on day 1, 76 1/2 on day 2, for 168 3/4, Adam Reiser. Adam, your total yesterday gave you the opportunity to win the Tennessee Hammer event that was a culmination of a bunch of local clubs. So you had the victory there, but today your total was a little lower. How was your overall experience on Lake Chickamauga?
I went all in on the offshore ledge bite. Had a great day yesterday. Got a little lucky, had a few of those fish that came off in the net. Today just didn't have the big bites. I didn't really even, I jumped a few that could have called some, but I never had like the giants today. Still had a really fun time. Chickamauga is one of those unique, special places, so always a good time to be fishing here.
Awesome, man. Well, congratulations. You got some money and you got an opportunity to get some good AFCO Angler of the Year points, and I know those will be valuable as the year plays out. Congratulations.
Thank you.
In 18th, taking home $750, 79 1/2 on day 1, 89 3/4 today, for 169 1/4, Keith Shadwick. Keith, you had a good day, nice fish today. How was your experience on Chickamauga?
It was great. Yesterday was a little rough, but today was a lot better. the bot turned on a little better today.
And you get to go home with a check to represent it. How's that feel?
That's great.
All right, man. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, in 17th, 87 3/4 on day 1, 81 3/4 today for 169 1/2, taking home $800. Steven Sisto. Man, top 20 is great, but I want you to tell people the story, kind of the one that got away, since that was your PB. Let them hear about that real quick.
Yeah, so today at the last 10 minutes, I went out frog fishing, and I've never caught a fish on a frog ever. So I found some mats, threw in there, and she blew up and missed. So I threw back in, and she just golfed it down. I waited like 2 seconds, set the hook, and I actually boat flipped her in. My rod went into the water, and so I went scrounging. I was holding this huge fish, and then I went in and got my hand wet and grabbed my rod and pulled it back up in. And I put her up on the board, and I made the rookie mistake of putting my board across my Outback and laid her out and saw 21 1/2, got my phone out, and my fingers were all wet, and I couldn't press the button. So I went to hit the volume, and she jumped and took my catch board with her, and luckily it was still tethered to my kayak. But yeah, it was a 7-inch upgrade. It hurt. There were some words said, and it was a character building day. But I was able to, run directly across, and I threw in, and I caught like another 5-inch upgrade at the very last minute, in the last like 6 minutes. But it hurt. I mean, there was 12 inches of fish right there in the last 10 minutes.
It's 12 inches of fish, but you made it happen. You got invited back in the awards, and even in your text back to me, there were some words said. So
yeah, there was.
We always appreciate it. Congratulations, man.
Thank you.
In 16th, 83 3/4 on day 1, 86 3/4 today for 170 1/2. Michael Cooper. Michael, how was your experience out on Chickamauga this week?
It was good for the first time.
First time here?
Yeah, never been an hour and a half away from the house and never been here.
Hey, it's not a bad little offering up here on the Tennessee River.
No, it was a little bit different than Gunnersville, but it did. I mean, it was good fishing.
First check in the B.O.S.?
Yeah, first check, first B.O.S. series, first big trail series. So.
All right, man, we're going to have to make it a habit.
Yeah.
All right, man, we'll see
Appreciate
you at the next
it. Thank
one.
you.
Yep. All right, the next 5 anglers: Bailey Egbert, Eric Siddiqui, Jody Queen, Ewing Minor, and Justin Largen, and Brian Howe. I called you too early. You'll be on the next round. All right, we got 2 ties in this group. You guys know every 1/4 inch matters in this game. Over the course of 10 fish, sometimes we still have ties. When we do have tiebreakers, we go to biggest fish caught over the course of the weekend. In 15th place is the loser of the first tie. Had 87 1/4 on day 1. Had 83 1/4 on day 2 for 170 3/4, taking home $900. Brian Howe. Brian, you've made a habit of cashing checks in this series. How's it feel to get your first one of this season?
Feels awesome.
Chickamauga treat you okay?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't find any big fish at all. It was just consistent quality for me.
All right, man. Well, congratulations on that first check. Hopefully we'll get to see you at a couple more events this season.
All right, thank you.
Yep. All right. The winner of that tie had 80 1/4 on day 1, 90 1/2 today, and a big fish of 20.5 that was the difference maker. A total of 170 3/4, taking home $950. Ewing Minor. Ewing, you're starting to stack up some points for our AFCO Angler of the Year race, coming off the big win on Broken Bow. How's it feel to get a check in the very next event?
It feels great. I really didn't think it was going to happen after yesterday when I was plagued with the 15 and 16 inchers, but completely changed it up, went to a part of the lake I've never been to in my few times here, and had the best day I've ever had on this lake. So feels pretty good and ready to get on to Winnipesaukee.
Do you like Chickamauga yet?
No.
Not yet. Okay. We'll just have to keep coming back and get you to like it eventually. Congratulations, man, and we'll look forward to seeing you at Winnipesaukee. All right. 13th. 86 1/4 on day 1, 86 1/4 on day 2 for 172.5. Taking home $1,000, Bailey Egbritt. Bailey, you're also fishing your next event after winning the Lake Eufaula event. How's it feel to come back and immediately cash a check?
It feels pretty good. Obviously helps with the confidence coming off of a win and making sure it's not just a fluke. So being able to do something consistent, it feels pretty good. Hope we can keep it rolling.
And you obviously said the last go-round in some of your interviews afterwards that you're looking to get some good points for Angler of the Year. How you feel about getting another check, getting another top 15 coming into that the second half of the season?
It feels pretty good. Obviously, we want to always be best we can in AOI, but it's pretty hard to chase down Cody at this point. But going to do my best and to try to get 3 top 20s.
No doubt, man. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, the next tie. Both anglers had 173. The loser of this tie had 90.5 on day 1, had 82.5 today, taking home $1,050, Eric Siddiqui. Eric, you've had a big year kayak fishing, but your first check on the Hobie series. How's that feel, man?
Man, it feels really good. I had a couple of rough tournaments there, so it was nice to get this check.
Nothing like getting on some momentum, coming to a lake that you've spent a little bit of time, both in tournaments and play fishing. You kind of just got it going for you out here. How'd it feel?
Yeah, it felt pretty good. I've been here a few times. You found me sleeping at the boat ramp one time. So, it feels good to get a check here. I always have fun when I fish on chicks. So, there's a lot of places that are good during the week that aren't so good during the weekend, So, I like coming during the week and sleeping at the ramp for a few days and catching some big ones, but I had a good time this week. Caught some deep, caught some shallow, and, it was a little tougher today, but I had fun.
Awesome, man. Which event we're going to see you next at?
I'm going to try to make Winnipesaukee.
Okay. There's some smallmouth up there that you might need to get after.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about.
All right. In 11th, 87 on day 1, 86 today, had a 21.5 incher today that gave him the edge in our tiebreaker for 173, taking home $1,100, Mr. Jody Queen. Jody, how's it feel to be back up here getting your first check of the year?
Oh man, it feels great. This is only my second Hobie this year. I started out the season with a fractured wrist and had a rough start to the season, so it feels good to be back on the water and winning money again. So,
absolutely, man. Well, it's good to have you up here. You are our winningest angler of all time. You've won at every level of this series. You've won a satellite. You've won our first ever tournament of champions on Lake Ouachita. You won a Kentucky Lake event, and you've gone back-to-back on the Susquehanna River. Are we going to see you on the Susquehanna River again this year?
Nah.
No? You're going to let somebody else? All right.
I'm going to be there.
All right, man.
Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely. I know everybody is. That's one of our biggest and best events of the year.
It is.
Hopefully, Mother Nature will let the river play kind to us. And anything else you want to say?
Yeah, I'd like to give a shout-out to Torpedo. Man, this week I just eliminated so much water with that 1103. It was awesome. And casting rods, my rods performed excellent all week long. Never had a problem out of them and pulled those fish out of the junk. So I really appreciate all the support, and then to the rest of my sponsors, thank you very much.
Awesome, man. Congratulations. We'll get these folks a picture, and we will give them another round of applause. All right, top 10. Jimmy Davis, Steve Owens, Jordan Marshall, Justin Largen, and David Habenstein. All right. In 10th place, taking home $1,150. They had 92 and a quarter on day one, 81 and a quarter today, 173 and a half for their 2-day total. Justin Largen. Justin, you had a big day on day one. You had that 22 and 3/4. It was the second largest fish turned in this weekend. How did that feel on day one, and what was your overall experience here on Chickamauga?
Oh, the overall experience was great. It was fun, and to start off the tournament, first hour or so with a giant like that, man, I had the shakes for a while. It was a good start.
What changed for you today? Obviously, having that big fish helped, but did you have to change areas or do something different today?
I did switch areas. The place I was yesterday, there were several of us in there, and we beat it up pretty bad. So I wanted to change areas, but I want to give a shout out. My buddy Mark Chambers, actually, I had some car trouble yesterday, and he shuttled me to the new ramp today. I would not have been able to, I don't know if I'd even been able to fish today if it hadn't been for him, so I really appreciate it.
That's awesome, man. It speaks volumes about the kayak angler community, even in tournaments when money's on the line. Friends and sometimes even people you don't even know are often willing to help in situations like that. He's not the only angler that's had vehicle issues this weekend, but there's been other anglers that have stepped up to help out. The kayak community is definitely something special, and it ended up helping you today, helped to get to that top 10 check. Other than him, is there anybody you want to thank?
I want to give a shout out to Missile Baits, to Quantum Fishing, and to Vistas Fishing. And then also my buddy Lance. He gave me a shout out this afternoon, sent me a text saying catch a big one, and I was having kind of a slow afternoon, and I got two good calls after that, so thanks, Lance.
Lucky texts go a long way sometimes. Congratulations, man.
Thank you.
All right, in 9th, 89 and a quarter today. I'm sorry, 89 and a quarter on day one, 85 and a quarter today for 174 and a half. Taking home $1,250, David Habenstein. David, tell everybody where you're from.
I'm from Louisville, Kentucky.
All right, Kentucky boy, I like that. It's good to see a Kentucky guy up here in the top 19.
Yeah.
How's it feel?
Man, this is surreal. Like, I have learned how to fish from these guys and girls, watching their YouTube videos, and like, I've fished 4 Hobies. I've never caught a limit. I came in here, caught a PB yesterday morning, and then caught another PB this morning, and then caught another PB about 10 minutes later. And, Chick was good to me, man. They all came on a popper, one of those Berkeley poppers, in Harrison Bay, around all them islands. And then I just went around and got a limit with a 6 cents fluke after that. And I mean, it's just crazy, man.
That's awesome, man. That's to hear you kind of describe it, to hear that kind of just excitement in your voice. Everyone in this room and people back home watching, they can either relate to that being there prior or want to be that. It's an amazing, this sport allows opportunity to come up and have these opportunities, and you definitely showed out, had a strong field, 196 anglers, and you're sitting here in the top 10. That's exciting, man. Is there anybody you want to thank for that, or any shout outs at all?
Man, I'll thank Marcus. He got me confident on the old wacky, which I had to use to fill out a limit, and then thank my dad, and then I don't really have any sponsors or anything, but Daiwa makes a hell of a reel. Those SVs, I was zinging them up under trees and skipping flukes and, you know, all kinds of stuff. And it was, yeah, that's about it.
That's awesome, man. Well, yeah. I know you've been grinding this year. We gonna get to see you again?
Oh, yeah. I'm registered for Susky already. And then now that I'm getting some points and stuff, I'll probably have to register for Dardanelle or another one, you know? So, yeah.
All right, David. Well, congratulations, man.
All right, man. Thanks. Yeah.
In 8th, 81 inches on day 1, 93 3/4 on day 2, including the Bassin Big Bass 23 1/4 inch largemouth. A total of 174 3/4, taking home $1,350. Jimmy Davis. Jimmy, how'd your weekend overall go for you?
We caught a lot of fish, well over 100.
That's a lot.
Yeah, we caught a lot of fish.
What were you doing?
Just on a shaky head, morning dawn.
Were you fishing deep or shallow?
About 15 foot.
Okay. So your bite actually got better today when the current kind of shut down a little bit than it was for day 1, or is it just getting the right bite?
Just getting the right bite. I was fishing the culvert.
Okay. Anybody you want to thank and give a shout out to your club or anything like that?
Just Northeast Tennessee kayak anglers.
Okay. Well, anybody up in Northeast Tennessee looking to get into a club, fishing with some good folks and obviously some good anglers, check out Northeast Tennessee Kayak Anglers. Anything else you want to say?
I'm good.
All right, man. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
In 7th, at 87 1/4 on day 1, 88 1/4 on day 2, for 175 1/2, taking home $1,450, Mr. Steve Owens.
Sorry about that. I don't get to make these very often.
It's all right, man. We'll walk you through it.
I appreciate you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Steve, tell everybody where you're from.
I'm from here, Chattanooga, Tennessee, right down the road here. Saudi Daisy, Harrison, Hickson, a whole bunch of names to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, you got to fish your home lake, one of the biggest tournaments of the year. Sometimes that can be a lot of pressure, and sometimes people can overcome that pressure. You definitely overcame that pressure. What did you do 2 days? Did you fish multiple spots? What did you do to balance kind of your overall knowledge on this area to overcome all of that and go home with a great check?
Pre-fishing, I only got to get out for a couple of hours, but like you know, I'm local, so I'd found some fish in about 16, 18 foot of water and you know, made about 20 casts and had a 17 and 3/16 and missed a few, and I thought, well, that's the spot, but you know, historically, there's some big fish spots that we all know that we like to fish, and I just, you know, not having anything really, I just decided to roll the dice and just go for it, you know, and it paid off, you know. Like everybody else, you know, we lose fish. Day 1, I had gotten a message, and I looked down at my phone, and 6 8-pounder, I got a kid hook set on it, and it jumped, and it shook me for about an hour and a half, and I just sat, you know, I got recomposed and everything. But you had a great time, got to fish around some really good friends, got to be here with some of my best friends and get edged out by some of them. Get to fish in the tournament that you put on, the best in the business. We appreciate all your hard work. I don't know, I had a blast. Fished harder than I ever had. Caught the most epic fish I ever caught today. I can't frog fish, don't carry one, but I had a Hog Farmer weedless swim bait head, so that's what I used as a frog, and I caught that 20 1/2 this morning, and she jumped through the grass about 4 different times on a 20-pound Seaguar fluorocarbon, so I was waiting on it to snap, but got her in the net, and, you know, the rest were just basically on a wacky rig or a ribbon tail worm. So I'd like to thank, obviously, again, you, Cody and Sarah and Steve and everybody that puts this on. You know, Dugout Bait and Tackle, Boondocks, Hog Farmer, Southeast Tackle. And just look forward to maybe trying to squeeze that smallmouth tournament in if I can.
All right, man. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
All right. To round out this group, 84 3/4 on day 1, 91 1/2 today. 176 1/4 was his 2-day total, taking home $1,600. Your reigning Angler of the Year, Mr. Jordan Marshall.
Hey,
Jordan.
AJ.
Hey, bud. Tell everybody where you're from.
I'm from Maryville, Tennessee.
And tell everybody how much you love Chickamauga.
I can't stand this place.
But it's treated you well plenty of times, including this weekend. And despite whatever reason it is that you hate it, it continues to put out big fish and big opportunities, including a 22-incher that you caught today. Let's talk about your day 2. You were right in the middle of the pack on day 1, but day 2, you really jumped up and had a really strong limit. What changed for you, or what did you change to get up here and cash a big check?
So me and Sisto shared some water the last couple days, and the bite slowed down yesterday afternoon. So I kind of swung for the fences, and I did 17.3 miles today. And the first spot I went to, Thomason decided he was going to go home early, so he was like, hey man, if you make it here, check this spot out. I had 5 fish in the first 30 minutes pretty quick. And then I think I submitted like 13 fish today or something like that, because they culled 1/2 inch here, 1/2 inch there. And at 12:30, I went in to where I'd caught all my fish yesterday and was working my way back through there. And 4 of my 5 fish today came out from one tree on a stinking spinning rod with a Cinco, including the 22-incher. And that's the thing that drives me nuts about this place. You can fish all day and catch 14-inch fish, and you pull up on one spot and catch dang near 80 inches on 4 fish. So that's Chickamauga for you.
I mean, some people might actually love that, but you
it drives me nuts, man. It drives me nuts.
Well,
so,
anybody you want to thank, man?
Yeah, you guys. I had a little situation yesterday that AJ and Michael took care of for me. Shout out to them. Y'all were always fantastic. The whole crew, Steve, you too. Casting rods, I threw all-purpose rods for 14 different techniques today and yesterday, from frogging and everything else. So McKee Outdoors, I went and got a bunch of stuff before I came down here because I had no idea what I was going to do. I just knew I wasn't going to fish deep. That was the most important thing. So I should have, I guess watching it, but I don't know.
Awesome,
I don't
man.
fish deep.
Well, you fish your strengths. There was an elite series on the other end of this river this weekend. John Cox, people that follow fishing, he's beating the banks, beating shallow all week. He cashed a big check in the elite series. You fish your strengths so much, and it tends to pay off for you more often than not. So congratulations. Let's give these guys another round of applause. All right, top 5. We'll go ahead and bring up our day 1 leader, Justin Patrick, Matt Ball, Josh Stewart, Ethan Jett, and Christine Fisher. All right, before we dive in to the top 5 and who finished in what spot, something I want to go ahead and say, because 2 of these anglers have already qualified for the 2022 Tournament of Champions on Caddo Lake. The other 3 anglers are also qualified as well. So all 5 of these anglers are now qualified to fish our 50 Angler Championship on... All right, let's see how it played out. In 5th, 83 3/4 on day 1, 92 3/4 today, for a total of 176 1/2, taking home $1,850. Matt Ball. Matt, tell everybody where you're from.
I'm from Little Hocking, Ohio.
And tell everybody how excited you are to be qualified for the Tournament of Champions.
Man, it's awesome. That's a big weight off my shoulders. So this is my second automatic qualification for the Hobie's TOC. So that's pretty cool.
All
So,
awesome, man. Tell a little bit about your experience here on Lake Chickamauga.
Man, I've only fished here one other time. I came down here about 2 years ago, maybe 3. Checked out some of the same stuff that I did then. I spent the week with some great guys, Jody Queen, Mike Elsey, Jim Ware, somebody else. But anyway, anyway, we had a great time. We all had a great house. So had a great pre-fishing. I was consistently catching 85 inches every day. And then that storm come through, and I had a really strong Z-Man goat toad bite going on pre-fishing, and felt really good about that. And then that kind of shut off during the tournament. Caught a few on that, but really I was fishing everything was shallow with wood. Everything was caught on either a Z-Man chatterbait, jackhammer, or a mag fatty. So it was awesome. So today, yesterday at about 45 minutes left, I only had 4 fish, and I made about a 2-mile paddle to a spot just to get away from the crowd, and ended up catching my 2 biggest fish of the day at the end of the day, which put me in 28th, and that gave me a chance today. And then today, it was just my first fish of the day was a big one, and then I just kept catching nice fish all day. So,
Matt, anybody you want to thank, buddy?
yeah, I want to thank Jackson Kayak. I spent this is my first event in the new Jackson NAR, and I just absolutely love that kayak. Really happy with it. Torquedo covered a ton of water leading up to this event to cover and find all kinds of fish and eliminate a lot of stuff. Really, all my sponsors, Yak Attack, NRS. NRS was very comfortable in this heat. Kept me sane this week. So really, I just want to thank Hobie. Thanks for running these great events, and thank everybody here. Just appreciate the friendships that I've built through all this sport, and I just want to thank my Lord and Savior for all that He does for me. And I do want to also say thanks to Hobie for allowing us to do those fellowship meetings at the check-ins every year. That's something that's really a big part of what I want to do here. So, thank you.
Awesome, man. Thank you. All right, and fourth, 86 3/4 on day 1, 91 3/4 today for 178.5, taking home $2,400, Josh Stewart. Josh, how you doing, man?
Pretty good. How are you?
Oh, I'm good. You got last 2 events. You've cashed checks. You were, third place at Eufaula last month. Got a check at Broken Bow a few weeks ago. Mm-hmm. Now you're 4th place in this one, man. How's it feel?
Feels pretty good. I'm probably gonna have to sign up for Dardanelle though, just so I can get an inch a little bit closer to Cody.
That's right. That's right. How did it play out for you this week, man?
I've fished here, I don't know, probably about 6 times before. And most of the spots I fish are just my hole's like right next to the boat ramp, and I knew there's going to be a lot of people here, so I basically just started going to new places, and I found a good area on the second day of pre-fishing, and I would go to one spot in the morning and get my limit with like a wacky rig or something, the Senko, and once the sun come up, I just flipped basically the rest of the day was D-bomb, and I wasted a little bit of time, trying to explore other places that really wasn't that great. And then I'd come back and I'd catch some more, and then leave and come back and let it reload. But overall, I'm glad I went and looked somewhere else instead of going to my normal spots.
No doubt, man. Anybody you want to thank?
Of course, I'd like to thank my wife, Lauren, Jackson Kayaks, Dakota Lithium. They've been putting a roof over a lot of our heads for a while now. Yak Attack and Fish USA.
Awesome, man. Congratulations, and we'll look forward to seeing you at the next one.
All right, appreciate it.
Thanks, man. Yeah, you two. We'll get your picture, and then we're going to have y'all. All right, top three. In third, at 91 3/4 on day one. 87.5 today for 179 1/4, taking home $3,200. Christine Fisher. Christine is our reigning grand champion of the TOC. Last year at Lake Eufaula, had a good event on Lake Eufaula. You've had some great events on this lake as well. How'd it feel to have a great finish with 195 other anglers on this fishery?
It felt pretty good. Like I like chick a lot, but it can be pretty dirty to me too. So it felt good to come out and have a good finish.
What were you doing this week to have really two consistent limits and best so many other anglers that were out here grinding?
Well, like I said, I fished a few times, and I've got a couple of really good spots, and I just had a feeling like I knew there was going to be people in them, and I didn't think it could sustain good fish for 2 days. So I used my Torpedo 1103 on Friday, and just to be clear, I didn't catch a fish over 18 inches this week in practice, and I think I went about 11 miles with that 1103, and I never would have found this area without it. I wanted to get as far away from people as possible. And I found this pretty good sized creek, and I didn't catch a single fish in it, but I saw an 8-pounder, and I saw a couple other, just a handful of like maybe 2 to 3 pounders. There were a bunch of brim beds. I just got that feeling like it felt pretty good in there. Like again, I didn't catch anything, and it was going to be a pretty big gamble, but I had a pretty good feeling I wouldn't see another kayak angler, and I didn't. Now, it took everything I had to use my legs to get there, and there's only one other bass boat. So apparently a lot of people didn't think this was a good area, but I thought for 2 days it could be pretty decent, and it was.
What did you do to keep those fish active and get them fired up? I mean, you were on some really consistent fish over the course of 2 days. What was kind of the magic bait, magic tactic?
Well, I lost about my first 7 fish this morning on a Berkeley Chapo, the 90. Caught a couple of good fish on that yesterday. I was throwing a chatterbait that I think was about half of my limit. Mostly all moving baits and dirt shallow. I was fishing less than 2 foot of water the entire time.
Wow.
There are plenty of big fish swimming around. They're tough to stay pinned sometimes.
No doubt, no doubt. Is there anybody that you want to thank?
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, thank God, especially for making the Tennessee River system, because I love it. I feel right at home there. It's my favorite. I want to thank my family. I know they're watching, Pa and Mom and Dad and Grandma. I want to thank G. We had to carpool from Texas to try to, gas is getting really expensive. So it's not always easy doing that, and we're both at a little bit of a disadvantage because we don't get to fish where we want, but he was an awesome person to share a truck with. And got to thank Hobie. You guys run an amazing tournament, best out there, and the whole crew, Steve and AJ and Cody and Sarah. Sean, I saw Sean. And all my sponsors and everybody here in this room, a lot of friendly faces in here. It's cool to see so many good people do well.
Awesome. Well, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, we've got 2 anglers left. We're going to go ahead and do second place. Second place had 89 1/4 on day 1. Had 91 1/4 today for 180 1/2, taking home $5,500. Qualified for the Tournament of Champions on Caddo Lake, Ethan Jett. Man, how's it feel to have your hands full?
Oh gosh, it's the best feeling I've ever had.
Well, tell us a little bit about it, man. Can I help you with something? You want me to hold something for you?
What is it? I have a love-hate relationship with this lake. I love it, but I hate it at the same time. And first fish I had within 16 minutes of first lines in was a 22 1/2 off a popper. And I was going to live or die by the shallow water bite. I guess I lived.
No doubt, man. You lived, you did. You've heard a lot, coming into this event, we heard a lot about the ledges. Well, the ledges are so reflective on the current. But this lake has a lot of fish that stay shallow year round, and that definitely played out. As we've listened to so many of these anglers talk, that shallow bite really played out for them. So you obviously had that big one on the popper, but what did you do through the rest of the days to kind of keep those fish active and to obviously improve on your limit going into day 2?
Most of them came off the popper early, and then chatterbait throughout the bluegill spawn, and then a wacky rig Cinco. So.
Awesome, man. Keep it simple, but they
Yes,
made
sir.
it happen, and catching those big fish on topwater is
Yes.
one of those special things, especially doing it on a tournament when this kind of money's on the line.
Yes, sir, yeah.
How do you feel about being qualified for the Tournament of Champions?
I've always dreamed of it, and I'm finally there. So.
No doubt, man. That is exciting, and I think everybody in this room and watching at home is feeding off your excitement as well. Is there anybody you want to thank?
Yes, Rogue Fishing, Bad Boy Jigs, and Touring Outdoors. So, and then all the Hobie staff in Hobie, Dayton, Tennessee, and they've always been nice to us and everything. So.
And as you drive home today, do you love or you hate Chickamauga?
I think I love it now.
That's right. That's right. All right, man. Give him another round of applause. Well, in first place, the biggest limit of both days, 97.5 on day 1, 102 3/4 today for 200 1/4, taking home $10,500. Justin Patrick.
That's a lot of money, man.
That is a lot of money, man.
I like this hardware.
Are you sore from catching all those big fish all week?
Dude, I'm still registering it. It's been unreal.
Well, let's talk it out a little bit because we all want to know, not only yesterday did you have the biggest limit of day 1, but today you got on the board early and then you kept culling and then you even held one back a little bit later and improved on your total just in case someone was coming after you. Tell us a little bit about how you made it happen.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I mean, I just never really thought that I had it. I just kept telling everybody that was texting me and stuff. I'm like, let's just hold our breath here because this is Chickamauga. There's a lot of good anglers in this tournament, and if I could find a hole like that, somebody else could. But I mean, practice for me, I got in on Wednesday and I covered a lot of water and, just basically just trying to eliminate water, trying to find some productive ledges. But I was kind of, torn between the shallow bite and the ledges because it seems to me like, sometimes on these Tennessee River systems, the lakes, the ledges get pounded and those fish, they move, they readjust and sometimes they live shallow. So, I've seen that before on Pickwick, so. Wasn't really feeling the ledge bite until late Friday afternoon. With an hour and a half left, motored out to a spot, started catching some fish on a drop shot, and that was really all I had. So going into day 1, I got on that spot pretty early, caught a 20-incher. I actually hooked that same fish in practice. It came off, and I was like, man, well, there goes that one. But somehow it bit again. But filled out my limit on that spot and then just started just exploring and stuff. And there was a creek channel just not far down the ledge from where I was at. Went and checked it out and started throwing in there. And, a lot of guys were rolling through there. I'd seen, throwing plugs and, just typical ledge stuff, But for whatever reason, it seemed like the drop shot was all they wanted, So threw in there, started getting hammered on it. I felt, actually culled out my smallest 4 fish. And then left it alone. So I really had no idea if it was going to reload or not. I mean, it seemed like the bite kind of died off in that spot. So I was really nervous today. That was all I had. I mean, there were some other spots that I was going to go, use as backups if I had to. But got in there. Actually slept in this morning a little bit. I was so exhausted. I didn't wake up till 5 o'clock. Luckily, when I got to the ramp, there weren't as many people there as yesterday. So I got out to my spot, and they just were biting first thing. It seemed like they were. It lasted about as long as the shade, the cloud cover was out, and then once that sun came out, it died off until Steve showed up in the media boat. He said he was good luck, and he sure was. He caught another 20-incher, and then I actually didn't hold that 19. I caught it later in the day, and off the same spot. So it was fun, man.
So most all of your fish came on drop shot?
Drop shot, and you just using a Zoom trick worm. Heard somebody else say morning dawn color is the same deal.
Were you using any like active or live?
No,
Okay.
no, just regular 2D and clear view on my Garmin. So
Okay. So that's 2 tournaments in a row where Drop Shot has taken home the big check in May and June. So that speaks a lot on, you know, applying a technique to a situation and making it, you know, come out fruitful. And man, that's just amazing that you stuck with it and found it when you did. And man, like how exciting is that?
Yeah, I'm stoked, dude. I mean, it's one of those, you know, tournaments you dream of. You know, I've fished a lot of the Tennessee River, and it's not always like this, you know, especially these days and everybody's out there. You know, so to find that kind of spot, you know, to have that kind of tournament was pretty awesome.
Got 2 more things for you, man.
Yeah.
How's it feel to know that you're qualified for the Tournament of Champions on Caddo Lake?
Dude, it feels really good. Considering the season I've had so far, I've just kind of wrote it off, you know, but I've been there 2 times, and it's an awesome experience, so I'm excited to go back.
And who do you want to thank?
Man, a lot of people, but you know, I'll try to keep it short.
Hey, man,
but I just want to thank all my friends and family, most importantly my wife. She's at home with her little daughter when I'm doing this stuff, so I really appreciate her. And then all my family and friends, guys from the club that, you know, are all rooting for me. I really appreciate you guys. But, you know, I've got some great sponsors. Battleborn Batteries, my title sponsor this year, and they've really helped me out a lot. I was motoring out, you know, scanning the ledges with my 100 amp hour battery. I'm getting like 12, 13 miles to a single charge, you know, going full throttle. And that's not a very efficient motor either. So it's pretty impressive. And then just all my other sponsors, Corky's Barbecue back home. They makes, you know, Memphis is not known for a whole lot, but they're known for their barbecue, and right. Corky's does it best. So if you're in the area, check them out. S.Y. Wilson and Company, our kayak dealer back in Arlington. David B.O.S, he's my guy. He travels with me a lot. He wasn't here this week, but he will bend over backwards for you. And they got a great inventory right now of Hobie kayak. So Black Bass Tackle, Katana Hooks, Motor Guide, you know, just anybody I'm missing, I just really appreciate you guys.
Awesome, man. Well, we all enjoyed watching you put a clinic out there on Lake Chickamauga this weekend. 225 inches, one of our top 2 fish limits of all time. Congratulations, that's got to feel good, and give him and everybody another round of applause. Thank you. Everybody at home, thank you for watching and supporting these anglers all weekend. Can't wait to catch up with you all in New Hampshire on Lake Winnipesaukee here in a couple weeks. Thank you again to Lake Chickamauga in Dayton, Tennessee, and everybody else traveling home safe. We'll see you next time.